Organized labor has called on the federal government to scale up all its policies and programs aimed at alleviating the sufferings of Nigerians as a result of the fuel subsidy removal. After the meeting with the federal government representatives, the labor leaders said even though they have listened and read carefully the interventions and strategies being suggested by this administration, they expect more in corresponding to the enormity of the issues at hand. Aside from other requests, the labor is asking for wage awards that doesn't have much bureaucracy and legal implications instead of minimum wage increases as suggested in the president's national broadcast. The federal government, however, appealed to the labor unions to shelve the planned protest. Meanwhile, on whether the planned protest has been called off, the labor leaders said they will be meeting tonight to decide on the way forward and take a definite position.
What we have been advocating for on the part of labor is wage award that doesn't have much bureaucracies, that doesn't have much, you don't have a lot of issues around the law, because the law that prescribes minimum wage said 5 years. Until you are made that, no other thing can kick in. But we said for the immediate, let government come out. Just as some state government has announced that we're paying 40,000, some say 50,000. So they should do something like that. We have also heard some state as well coming and saying that they are going to pay PMS allowance of XYZ amount. So those are the wage awards that we were thinking and we are pushing government to do.
We also made discussion by saying the 3,000 buses being proposed to be made available is not sufficient. Ordinarily, when you divide it by the number of states we have, it won't take us anywhere. So these discussions are ongoing, and the government came with an appeal of shifting the intended protest tomorrow. We say no.
We equally pleaded with him that buses should be put across all our higher institutions to enable us cope with the fuel subsidy period, which he has approved that. I'm sure that you people know yesterday with that release we were able to get that.
Basically, we laid out the plans and the interventions of Mr. President, as you all heard in his broadcast yesterday. We made it clear that this was just Mr. President's initial rollout and interventions, and that conversations will be ongoing as we go along. And we appeal to Labour. We did appeal to Labour to call up their protest for tomorrow. We found listening ears here, and they did agree that they all accepted that Mr. President.
The Acting Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adeolu Egbetokun, has expressed concern over the proposed nationwide strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress, TUC, warning that the police will not tolerate any form of violence during the protest. Recall that the NLC gave the federal government a 7-day ultimatum to reverse all perceived anti-poor policies or face an indefinite nationwide strike from August 2nd. Reacting to the proposed industrial action by the NLC in an official statement made available on the Facebook page through the first public relations officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the IGP said that although the right to protest is enshrined in the Constitution, but should be done in a peaceful way, devoid of violence. According to him, there have been instances in the past where such protests were hijacked by miscreants and resulted in the disruption of public order. He emphasized that the police will not tolerate any attempt to sabotage the protests, adding that such will be met with a professional and lawful approach. IGP Egbetokun assured that the police will ensure the security of lives and properties of the citizens during the duration of the planned protest.